Welcome back.
Yay! We're at it again. You can't escape.
Well,
Um,
you can by hitting unsubscribe.
yeah, but don't do that. Stay subscribed, especially in iTunes. Although we're on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify, we're everywhere because I'm obsessive. But iTunes is best. Subscribe on iTunes. Anyway, we thought since last time we talked about meeting our now husbands
Spouses.
and our proposals or non-proposals, that we would talk today about our weddings.
Mine was very recent, just in January, so all the triumphs and pain are fresh in my mind.
Yes, so we're most of this episode is going to be on Emily because basically Lee and I eloped. Uh,
Why is that, Mother?
well, at the end of junior year, we moved into a rented house together with him and his sister and her then husband. And being in a house together in the same bed every night, and in my case, being physically taken care of by Lee, were making us a little stressed out. As I said last episode, our youth pastor was all about it's better to marry than to burn with lust. And we were burning. It was a
Oh,
fire.
God.
It was a ring of fire. We
I'm
were
just
all,
gonna tune out. Let me know when you're done.
we were all set to have our wedding in August, but we couldn't wait and ended up getting married on June 22nd, right between his birthday and my birthday. So he was 19 and I was 21.
Did you
But
have any, like, serious plans for getting married in August?
the only serious plan was we had talked to the people at our I don't know what to call it, our hippy dippy evangelical church to rent out their basketball court room. Their worship area was basically like a big room that with chairs in it that you could take out, and on the sides there were basketball hoops.
How
So
romantic.
yeah, very romantic. So we were going to get married there. Actually, we did get married there, but we got married on June 22nd with just me and Lee, and we brought his sister and her then husband along because we thought we need witnesses, but no, we didn't even need witnesses. I was wearing a Nitzareb t-shirt and jeans, and your father was wearing a Johnny Rotten t-shirt and jeans. I said yes to no dress because I think that's insane. But that's just me. So we went. My boss at work at that time rented us a hotel room for our wedding night, which came with champagne because it was the honeymoon room, you know.
And yet,
And
Dad was underage.
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was going to say. I probably was the only one that should have legally drank the champagne, but you know. So,
Let he among us who has not had a drink before their 21st birthday cast the first stone.
yeah, really, truthfully. I went back to our home after that. I called my parents to let them know, and they were like, oh, that's so great. They were like, come home and get an annulment.
So supportive.
Yeah. Well, part of it was I was Catholic and then I was Wiccan and then I became like evangelical Christian. And I think in their mind, your dad dragged me out of a Catholic church and into this like super evangelical church. They like missed the whole in between.
Well, it's a lot easier for a parent to blame change in their child on outside forces than the fact that their child just might be changing.
Yeah, that's very insightful of you.
Thank you, I'm a genius.
So basically, we were married, we did not get annulled. We had a potluck reception in the worship/basketball center, and everybody brought their own food. So I think the only thing we had to pay was like $100 to rent the hall or something.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, and then we went to Cincinnati for a couple days and like hung out and went all the cool places we liked, and that was basically the extent of our honeymoon. We didn't really do anything ever, which someday maybe.
Someday, on your 30th wedding anniversary.
Yes, it's getting up there. It's like what will be 28 years.
Oh,
Anyways,
wow.
yeah. So now, Emily, your story is much more involved.
Well,
Take a deep breath.
I'm having flashbacks
Oh,
to
I'm
my
sorry.
anxiety. It's okay. Well, Wes was raised Catholic, and early on in our dating, he made do with the idea that I was never going to convert to Catholicism and was going to stay Orthodox, and that I wanted to raise our kids Orthodox. So we knew that we wanted to have an Orthodox wedding just because we liked the ceremony, and we knew we wanted to have a church wedding because religion had been such a big part of our upbringing, despite, at least in my case, some of the issues I have with organized religion. We didn't know where we wanted to have it because most of my extended family is in Ohio. Most of his family was in Philadelphia, and only our immediate family is in DC. So we ended up settling on Philly because people traveling from Ohio have just as easy as a time getting to Philly as they do to DC, and it made it easier for Wes's family, obviously.
And it was only a couple hours for us. It was a good halfway point.
Yeah, it was a good point for everyone. We started planning about 2 years out. We knew that we were going to have a long engagement because we were paying for the whole wedding ourselves. I would have been totally fine with inviting like 10 or 20 of our close friends and family and having a small church service and then all going out to like Gordon Biersch afterwards, but Wes really wanted to have the big party. So we decided to have the big party.
And you did.
Let me just say, planning a wedding is not easy. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. And I do
You
not
told your
understand.
sister to elope.
I have told my sister numerous times to elope. All my friends who have talked about it, I have told to elope. I think weddings at the end of the day, not the marriage ceremony itself, but the weddings are not about the people who are getting married. They're about the friends and family who have been there for you along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
And once we accepted that fact, it made everything a lot less, I wouldn't say stressful because I was still stressed because I was in
Yeah,
control of everything.
you were like, is everybody having fun?
But
So,
once I realized that it wasn't about me, I was less focused on making it the perfect day for me and more focused on making sure everyone else was having a good time, which I guess is a double-edged sword.
yeah, I was gonna say, you seem pretty stressed out.
Yeah, we started with a budget of like 20K, which I know is a lot of money, but believe it or not, that's the low end of things.
Wow.
We ended up spending a little under 30K. We invited 207 people and ended up with 145, give or take a couple last minute cancellations. I would say, just to run through it, the best parts of the wedding itself was probably I hated planning it, but it was nice to be in control of everything and watch the puzzle pieces that I had been planning for so long come together and work out because I am so obsessive compulsive and like had timelines and sheets and
And Pinterest pages.
yeah, I handmade all of our flowers, and that was actually a major source of stress relief during the planning because when DJs and videographers weren't answering my calls, I just started making flowers, poured myself a glass of wine, and watched some shitty reality TV show.
Say yes to the dress.
Oh, that's actually, I did say yes to the dress. I
It's a
ended
very
up
nice dress.
I ended
Nice.
up getting my wedding dress for $240.
It was on sale.
And a lot. I got in with a budget of 1K, which how people spent that amount of money on a wedding dress, I'll never understand. But I knew that what I wanted might be a little bit more expensive, so I set a bigger budget to allow myself room to play. I went with some of my really close girlfriends who were bridesmaids and my mother.
Yes,
And
I was there.
my mom and one of my bridesmaids, Abby, saw the dress and brought it to me, and I was like, ew, that's ugly. And then I put it on and I just loved it. So I got that one.
Of course, your mother picked it out. It's
And
gonna be lovely.
David's bridal told me it couldn't be strapless, and I told them to go fuck themselves and took it to a tailor who made it strapless.
Yes, you made it your own. You had control.
Over the one part of the wedding.
Yes, yes.
I think just running down the list, probably the best things about the wedding were we were married by a priest that I've known since I was 10 years old. The only time that I actually cried during the ceremony itself were just from his homily because he knew me and it wasn't like one of those awkward sermons where a priest talks about a couple that just started going to church like last week so that they could get married in the church.
Yeah, it's like Wes and what's your name, dear?
It was also really great to see family and friends that I haven't seen in a while because life gets in the way. Most of my extended family is in Ohio. I have friends all over the place.
Yep.
So it was nice to see everyone together and to see, like, even like at my bachelorette party, seeing my bridesmaids become friends with each other, like, pulled on my little heartstrings,
Yeah. And at the hotel, seemed like the families meshed really well together.
which was nice.
Yeah. I think because we all come from like old time Catholic stock or something. I don't know.
It
But yeah,
was really nice to see all my hard work pay off and how everyone seemed to really enjoy the wedding and weren't just saying that like,
so many people came up to me and were like, "That wedding was amazing," or like I had planned it. I'm like, I just showed up. I did not do anything. I paid for the pre-reception cookies or something. I don't know.
and then in one of our friend groups, we have a tradition where at every wedding we stand in a circle and sing Seasons of Love from the Rent soundtrack.
Hmm.
And just doing it again was nice. And I wish I hadn't set the videographer home, but I did, so we don't have it on video.
Aww.
Things I wish I could have done differently. Our bridal party was very big, and I loved everyone who was a part of it. However, having that many people, it was a little overwhelming, and there were times where I felt like I was being overlooked. And it wasn't like, oh my god, I need to be the center of attention, but when you have that many people in a room,
Well, how many people did you have in your bridal party?
I had 10 on my side and Wes had 11 on his side.
Yeah, it was a big crowd.
I started out with 6, and then Wes counted out all of his, and it was 11. So I was trying to even it out. And I mean, I hope this isn't taken the wrong way because I really do love everyone who was in our bridal party. But with that many people in a room, I felt like there were times where I just needed some like goddamn peace and quiet, and there were people
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, I mean, you and I both have social anxiety to
Mhm.
some degree. And even when you know people, just being around that many people at once is like overwhelming.
I was very focused on making sure everyone else was having a good time.
And
And
you
there
had
were,
like what, 21 bridesmaid people to worry about.
yeah. I also regret wearing heels during our hour-long ceremony. Looking back on it, I should have worn the heels during the pictures and worn my glitter sneakers for the ceremony, but you live and you learn. I'll remember for, my next wedding.
Oh yeah, or maybe mine. Sure.
This is just going back to everything else is I just wish that I had taken more time to myself and like if I had taken 10 minutes here then and just like sat with myself or with Wes, I think I could have prevented the eventual panic attack I had that night.
Oh, you had a panic attack before the wedding?
I had a panic attack during the reception, but
Oh, I did not know this.
I pretty much kept it to myself and not a lot of people knew because at the end of the day, I'd rather the 140 people I'm having have a good time than me.
Worry
And
about your panic attack.
yeah, I mean, a handful of people knew and they helped, but by like 8 p.m. the day of the wedding, the night of the wedding, I was done. Just wanted to be in bed.
Yeah, I was kind of right there with you. I really liked the wedding. People really had fun. They kept coming up to me, congratulating me like I had planned the whole thing. But I, being the dumbass I am, didn't drink any coffee that whole weekend, which I am totally addicted to caffeine. And by the reception night, my head was going to explode. I was having caffeine withdrawal. So yeah.
Yeah. So, long story short, I'm happy we did it. I don't regret it, but I am so glad it's over.
And a low
Or hire a wedding plan.
higher wedding plan. Then you can pay 100K for your wedding.
At the end of the day, I don't know. Everyone has an opinion about what you should do for a wedding. There were people who were like, have a wedding, you won't regret it. And then there were people who were like, why are you paying 30K for a wedding? You could buy a house. And I was like, I don't want to buy a house. I want to have a wedding.
Well, where we live, you could not buy a house.
Well, it could be a down payment, but still, even I don't want to own a home for at least 10 years because
Well, you
I
don't
don't know
really know
where I'm
where.
gonna
Yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah,
And also, if something breaks in my house, I like being able to call someone else to fix it.
yeah, and
I
not pay them.
Everyone had an opinion, and it was, if I could give any advice, it would be to just do what you want to do, but also to remember that at the end of the day, a wedding, as much as it's about you, you also want to make sure the people that you invite are happy and comfortable.
And they were.
We had a small little staycation in DC, which coincided with the government shutdown, so none of the museums were open.
Oh,
But we still had a great time. It was DC restaurant week, and we got a little time to relax before we went back to work. And we're planning a 1 year anniversary honeymoon to the Galapagos Islands.
is that where the turtles are?
Yes,
Okay,
and
that's
Darwin.
Darwin. Well, Darwin's not there.
I know, but
Oh,
his origin of species, he wrote
oh.
Galapagos.
Wait, was it about turtles or birds?
I don't remember. I'm an
Okay.
English major.
He's not buried there, right?
He might be.
Okay, that would be weird. All right, but that sounds great. Where's that at? California?
No!
Where's the Galap? I don't know.
Ecuador!
Oh, I thought it was an island by California.
God. Darwin is buried in Westminster Abbey.
Okay, that is not Ecuador or California.
You are correct.
I think I'm mixing it up with Alcatraz.
Two very not similar things.
Well,
All
that would
right.
be fun to have your turtles.
All right, Mother, do you have a thorn for this week?
Yes, my thorn is old people.
You are one of them.
I mean like old people, like twice my age old people. Basically, I am working in a kind of a community service project, and I am the youngest one out of like 100 people, I think. But
Sounds.
yeah, so it's lots of old people. But the worst of this is is if you know email, or you know how to make a spreadsheet on Google, or you know how to make documents that look professional, the old people will love you. I swear I was at one meeting and I'm like, oh, I can do that. And every time I said that, they were like, I thought they were going to throw like offerings of fruit and liquor and flowers at my feet. Like, that's how, basically, if you know the internet, old people worship you. And that is my rose.
Being worshipped.
Being worshipped by the old people. And how about you, Emily?
Well, my thorn is that my loving husband, unbeknownst to me, signed up 4 months ago for a personalized congratulations from our idiot in charge, Donald Trump,
The
on
great
our wedding.
Cheeto? Oh.
So this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, the sun is shining. I'm only a little hungover. I woke up before noon. What a
Ooh,
great day. And I went to get the mail because I haven't checked my mail in like 5 days. And I was like, there's the letter
from
from
the
the
White
White House. Oh, God. And I opened it and it looked like it was like in, what's that annoying font that all the 12-year-olds use? Comic Sans.
Ah!
And it was like, we wish you love and peace on your wedding, blah, blah, blah. Signed by Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Which, let me just say, Donald Trump's signature is awful.
Yeah, it's like all mashed together.
And
I'm
I saged my
surprised.
whole apartment because I put devil in that envelope.
So did you rebuke it back to the White House?
No, I think Wes wants to save it. I just
No,
wish
no,
we
no.
had
I
gotten.
meant the demon.
Oh, yes, the demon has left our apartment.
That's good.
I mean, I hope. I saged a lot.
And it didn't set off a smoke detector.
No.
Weird. Okay.
I just wish that we had gotten married under the Obama administration.
Because
But
that would be a much better card to get.
yes. Or if we had waited, and in my wildest dreams, Kamala Harris would be president. But,
I really like her. Anyways,
we'll get
put
to
it,
show this to our children someday, and they can laugh at our misfortune.
you can put it in your scrapbook with all your wedding stuff.
That would require me to actually scrapbook again.
Yeah, I know. So what is your rose?
My rose is that I had a pretty calm weekend and had time to finally fold all the laundry I did on Monday. And I meal prepped all day, so I'm prepared for this week, more so than usual.
And you had time to talk to your mommy.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good day, despite the demon envelope arriving in the mail.
Ugh.
That does sound like something Wes would do.
Apparently, he was hoping to get it before me and frame it and present it.
Oh my God! You would have lost your shit.
Yeah.
He might still do that. Make you
I'm gonna
hang
be
it up.
suspicious of any packages he gives me.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but it is pretty funny. So I think we've covered our topic. I didn't really have anything to say because I spent $100 on my wedding, and it wasn't even the wedding. So, yeah,
Well, it worked out for you. You've been married for 87 million years.
28.
87 million years.
Yeah, and now I'm old. Well, it was lovely talking to you, Emily.
Good to talk to you too, Mother.
And we shall talk and podcast again soon.
All right.
And now I believe you're going to watch Game of Thrones.
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, you have fun with that.
Thank you.
Love
Have
you.
fun editing this.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Slightly Off Center Podcast. You can also find us on Patreon and give us shit tons of money.
So we don't have to cam or sell an organ.
Also under Slightly Off Center Podcast. And if you need any advice, beauty, life tips.
We're probably not the people to ask.
But you can still send us an email at slightlyOffCenterPod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening!